So we're gonna get into One Piece, chapter 968, Oden's Return. So I'm pretty sure. Yep, pretty sure a lot of people have been kind of waiting for, essentially at least, what's to happen after this chapter and so forth, where we get the real action that's going down. So this is, I guess you can mainly say it's just a hype builder part, but pretty sure for a lot of people, it was an emotional chapter. For in the beginning, we see that Roger's kind of given like a farewell to his crew. They've completed their voyage around the world, found the One Piece and so forth, gained the fame and wealth and all of that, and now he's like, "Yep, I did everything that there is to be done. I gotta say better, y'all homies, man." And everybody's crying and so forth. He gave some message to Rayleigh. I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with the freaking Pirate King or whatever. But you know, they had that heartfelt moment and so forth. And your boy Oden finally returned home and saw that everything was fucked up.
True.
Everybody's been forced to follow under Orochi and so forth, and he saw that. He had to learn that they came for his family, man. You can't be coming for the fam, bro.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's the ultimate disrespect. So he found out that they ran up on the squad, and he said, "Fuck that!" Ran straight up to Orochi's to the man's footsteps, to the man's palace.
Bro, the kid murdered
everybody
up in there, son.
I mean, high key, he shouldn't even say shit to the man Orochi. He should have just ran up and sliced him in half right then and there.
That's accurate.
For real.
That's accurate. There should be no hesitation, period.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, it looks like we're finally getting like to the end of this flashback pretty much. I think like the only thing that really needs to happen is just like the actual murk of the Kazuki family pretty much from Kaido. So obviously Orochi's not gonna die.
Yep.
So Kaido's probably gonna, roll up in here, murk Oden real quick, and then murk the whole fam. So we maybe got like 1-2 chapters max left in this flashback, I feel. Which is cool. I'm trying to think.
I'm at least expecting that they're going to show us something that's extremely relevant to where we are in the present for the story. There's going to be something like either something hidden in the background or some kind of information given that's going to be relevant to when everybody actually starts fighting with Orochi and Kaido and the rest of them. That has to do with Oden. Yeah, because there has to be. I feel like there definitely needs to be something meaningful to them giving us this flashback at this point.
Well, I mean, like, pause. I mean, first off, the flashback has been going on for a minute. I mean, they revealed a lot of info regarding just Whitebeard and Roger and One Piece in general. That, I mean, like, I just don't know if they would really feel that obligation that they would really need to go into it that hard. At least, like, harder, should I say. So, I don't know. Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be surprised of your theory being incorrect, but I could also see that they've given so much in the flashback that they might not.
That'd be petty, yeah. Because you will want a flashback to give you something relevant to the current, basically what's happening in the current setting of the story and so forth. Or else it would make more sense for them to be giving us this later on toward the actual end of the story. I feel like that's just my thinking.
I suppose. I guess, I mean, that could also depend on like how they want like the actual war to be, right? Like, do you think they want really the war to be more about the action or more about the relevance to the plot? Because it's just like just considering like how large of a scale this war is really about to be. I mean, there's a good chance that like they just want to highlight just like almost like the power scale of all the characters that's going to be involved in it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, there could be just a good chance that they're trying to get all the plot necessary points out the way now, just so they could only focus on the action later.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I guess it could always depend. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I could definitely things that could like change the tide of the war when it's really going on. Maybe a couple characters who we thought were enemies or friends, or vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I could definitely see it. I'm just saying that like I still think they just contributed so much to as far as like the big plot of One Piece so far in this flashback. And they're just like, all right, we said what we wanted to say, and that was actually their goal. And they don't really need to really touch on much anything else. Because I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like something very specific that they would include in this flashback that be relevant.
So they did show us something that seemed very specific, even though I'm pretty sure we don't really know the significance of it right now. But when they showed that that Toki got shot in the leg by an arrow when she was trying to protect Momonosuke, I feel like that's gonna show out to be some kind of big reveal in the present story, in the sense that we're gonna find some random lady or some significant woman within a story, and we're gonna find out that she has a very similar wound to what Toki has in her leg, and it's gonna leave everybody like, "Oh shit, that's Toki the whole time."
Oh, interesting. Huh. Toki still being alive, but yeah, that'd be interesting to say the least.
Hell yeah, she hit them with that smooth jutsu, bro. She hit them with that substitute jutsu. Replace herself with a wooden fucking, what do they call it? A wooden stump, and jump past into the future.
It's just like bouncing. I'm out.
Yeah.
I tried to get burnt up. And that'd be petty though. I mean, if you think about it, like she left her daughter behind though.
Facts.
She said so.
You gotta sell the, that's how you gotta sell the story, bro. You gotta make it seem like you really did. Leave your kid behind.
Ew. Toki low key cold blooded.
At least that's how a lot of fathers do it.
Oh nah. Well, I mean, Oden did like travel around the world and leave the fam behind, pretty much getting got. So,
bro, that's just the way. That's the only way that you can truly make an anime character strong. Have their father leave them behind and let the kid grow up on his own. That's every fucking anime, every shonen anime.
That's low key effed up though when you think about it like that. Like,
yeah, it has to grow up
that
without
could
his
be a
father.
whole low key. That could be like a video. The background pettiness of like the messages shown in anime, really, and shown in manga, be trying to send off. Like, you got to pretty much grow up with no parents to be strong. Like, damn. That's like shit.
On some Batman shit.
Like, for real though. Like that gets like kind of deep, bro. But anyway, so that's for another day. Snap. So yeah, I guess it's questionable. You never know. I mean, it is a decent idea though, right? Like, there is no guarantee that we've gotten so far that Toki is dead. So that is actually a decent theory.
Exactly. And I feel like even if we see that man, Oden, being dropped into this big ass pot to be turned into Oden to be eaten by them, I still won't even fully believe it 100%. I feel like they'd fuck around and be some type of portal inside the suit that would actually transport him to the future or some other location that made it look like he simply got thrown in there and cooked alive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to believe everything I see.
That is true.
After all, they did manage to trick the whole fucking country thinking that niggas were dead when they simply jumped into the future in 20 years.
Accurate.
They gonna try to trick us as well as the readers on some shit with this flashback.
Also accurate.
Keep your third eye open.
Keep the third eye open.
Keep the third eye open and the third leg hanging, bro.
What? Wait, what? I haven't heard about that one.
That's the new saying. That's the new saying for the 10-4 hat people.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that third leg open. Oh, snap. All right, let's see what was pretty important in this though. I'm trying to think here. Oh, right. Okay. Who do you think are the two people, the two sovereigns that the Fish Kings were talking about in the beginning?
Well, we obviously know that one of them has to be um fuck
You talking about
the
like the princess,
mermaid
like
princess.
Shirahoshi, right? But like
Because
the other,
I can't picture anybody else being born the same time that she was born. I don't think Luffy's the same age as her, at
I
least.
don't think so either. Which is why I was like, actually, it was like, huh. That's a little bit of a thinker there too, though. Because like I don't think they were talking about Ace. I mean, I know like he said, "Oh, it's gonna be my son," but considering Ace is dead, I don't think they
It
were
did.
talking about him, right? So that mean who are they talking about then? I mean, especially if they're like the same age as Shirahoshi. Like, I mean, do we know? Is it? I don't know. I was thinking about it for a hot second, and it's like considering the Fish Kings to call them sovereign too. That means that they would have to be talking or something, wouldn't they?
Say it again.
Like a legendary weapon, like you know how like Princess Shirahoshi's like the weapon like Poseidon or Neptune. Oh, Poseidon, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you think they were talking about like another user of another secret weapon? Because I mean, I don't know. This is actually like a little interesting, right?
Well, but they're talking about a day that two sovereigns meet, and it's supposed to be some type of exciting day. I wouldn't think that it would be referring to two super weapons. I would think that it was a meeting between two important characters who are supposed to. Hold on. Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to think about another theory in the meantime. When they're talking about 15 years to grow or whatever, but um, two characters who are going to meet together, and either when they clash, it'll create something huge and significant to the world, or they're actually going to team up and go out into the world and change it in something significant way. I didn't necessarily think that it would be like somebody who's meeting with somebody who's referred to as a weapon, a great weapon of the world, and them using this other person to try to, either destroy the world or save the world.
Mm,
Because that's
I mean,
basically
I
how
guess. I
everybody
mean,
kind of use her as a weapon more than anything.
right. I mean, like if you can control like pretty much like the kings of the sea, and the sea is over like what 70-80% of the world. I mean, yeah, I mean that's logical at least in a way. But I mean, like based on how they worded this though, it seemed like two important people were being born on the same day. One of them being Shirahoshi.
No,
So,
they're not being born on the same day. If I were to reread it verbatim from at least from the translation I have, the bringing is at hand. Our sovereign will soon be born, and another in a distant sea. The worlds are dilated in anticipation of the day that the two meet. So we've been waiting for so long; it is almost here, and surely all will go well this time. Just 10 until the birth, and another 15 to grow. I thought that they were saying that one of them was about to be born like very soon, and then another one will be born in 10 years. I, that's how I kind of figured what they were saying, instead of them both being born within the next 10 years.
are you? Huh.
Because when somebody says the birthing is at hand, I kind of figure that that's saying that it's basically right here. It's going to happen very soon. No,
Hmm.
unless I mean, but it can also be taken in a 10-year manner, since these niggas have probably been living for like 500 years or 1,000 years or so, and 10 years can kind of seem like a fucking blink of time. So I can see what you mean if they're referring to both of them being born in 10 years also.
Hmm. Okay, well, just to, I mean, like, since this is all theory, just to like like think about like that point of view then real quick, and that would mean that means that something or someone was being born the same day, or at least like within a few days or something that they're talking, right? And like just to end the 10 years would be Shirahoshi. So that would mean someone was born 10 years before Shirahoshi that's just important as Shirahoshi. Is that what I'm gathering from you?
Yeah. But no, but my thinking is that it's not Shirahoshi though. That it's somebody else, because
No,
like
no,
I
no,
was
no. I
saying,
mean,
I wouldn't think that they
right,
would.
right. Like we're on the same page there. Like you're saying that, like, okay, in respect to like when these Sea Kings are talking, someone or something is being born right then and there, practically. That's not Shirahoshi. That was Shirahoshi,
Right.
but just as important, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, okay. So if that's the case, then I mean that's still the question of like what that thing or person is, though, right?
Yeah. That's the issue. Could it be somebody that we're going to meet over in the land of the giants? Could it be somebody that we're finally going to meet toward the end of the story? Is it like, could it be a Marine who's gonna fucking say, I'm out of here, and try to change the game up or whatever? Yeah, like, fuck. There's probably a bunch of theories that people are gonna be making from this.
Right. I mean, especially the wording too, though, because I mean, if it's not Shirahoshi, then they're saying the birthing is at hand. Our sovereign will still be born. That means that the Sea Kings are calling the person who's being born at that time their sovereign. So if it's not
Yeah.
Shirahoshi, then like what? Like who else would they call their king? So I mean, when we're talking, we're talking about like an OP power here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if anything, that just makes stuff even like more interesting, but also more confusing.
Yeah. Um. Fuck.
Huh.
I mean, in the case where it could be Shirahoshi, if they're referring to her, and I would think that they're also referring to another being that can talk to them, and the only other being that we would think can talk to them would be Momonosuke at the moment.
Hmm.
Can talk to them and potentially be able to control them and shit like that.
Hmm. That's
Just
interesting.
because, like, it's for example, like the idea of Momonosuke being the one who can control the enormous creatures of the land, and Shirahoshi being the one that can control the enormous creatures of the sea. And when they both meet up, they'll be the one to essentially have the power to change the world, because they have the power to basically control the largest creatures of the planet.
That might be going too far though. So I mean, like, one, have we really been introduced to any like stupid huge creatures that would truly be strong enough to do work like
Well,
that?
supposedly, Zoe is one elephant of a clan. Like, there are supposedly other elephants just like him, aren't there?
What? I don't even know.
Yeah, I thought that Zoe was one as was part of a clan, and something happened where he ended up being told that he had to walk forever, as a punishment for some shit that he did.
Let's see. Trying to get some history. Okay, history. They
Phoenician.
surpassed. Yeah, I'm checking it out now. Yeah, so he was sentenced.
Right.
Lived for centuries, 17 days for. Huh. Yeah. Well, I guess under that logic, there has to be creatures also according, like, that's his size, if not bigger or stronger, I guess. Okay. All right,
Exactly.
touche.
And you can't say that nigga ain't spoiled, because you saw what he did to Jack and his whole squad.
Oh, yeah,
Like, it
no,
was
he
nothing.
slapped kids. He just slapped the kids. They were nothing. He just slapped those.
Exactly.
Huh. That's a thought. Interesting. I don't know. If anything, it's definitely like there's definitely a lot of theories that could probably be born from at least what they're talking about, though. So that's definitely interesting. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I think that was pretty much it. I gathered from that one. So I think Odin's about to get slapped, unfortunately, by Kaido, and I think the next chapter is going to be sad. I'm ready for it.
Bring it on, baby.
Yeah.
Read it.
All right. Let's see. I would. You ready first? I'm thinking a little bit.
All right. I'm gonna give this chapter. I'm gonna give it a decent as hell. So this one isn't for me because I didn't get all of the feels from it or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people who are, who have been long time fans of this show who've been waiting to see Roger and all of that shit. Pretty sure a lot of those folks have felt a lot of the feels for it. And if I was like, I guess that type of had that type of personality trait or whatever you want to call it, I would have felt the exact same way and so forth about this chapter when Roger finally finished the voyage and left and all of that shit, and everybody was going their separate ways and everything. I would have felt that certain way. So I'm pretty sure that gets a lot of points as a feels chapter on that part. Two, very curious. It's the chapter has left me very curious of the reason that they showed us Toki's injury and so forth, and I'm expecting that to come to fruition within the next few chapters when they give us a present day story to see what the heck is going on with that and where she is currently, because I'm not convinced that she's actually dead right now. And and three, there is hype for this next chapter, man, because we are expecting to see the man throw hands. So
I don't know. You might be getting your hopes up a little bit too much about that. Like you think we're going? Okay, well, no. I mean, let's think about it, right? Like, do you think we're really gonna see a fight between Oden and Kaido?
Well, cause you said they just gonna fucking show a clash and then him being beaten at the end of the day.
Kinda, yeah. Actually, I mean, well, considering like all the fights the quote unquote fights we've seen in the flashback, it's not like we've really seen any fights, right? We've just seen that the fact that fights have happened. So I would be very surprisingly pleased if they did go into the fight with Oden and Kaido, but I just don't see it. I don't think they would give that away. I feel like they're saving that in the back pocket until the war. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I don't really see them. I mean, if that's the case, then this next chapter would I would think be the last chapter until they bring us to the present day of the story.
Right. I'm actually completely agree. Like one, maybe two chapters tops, but I think the flashback is just about over.
I mean, if he gets beaten by Kaido and so forth, there's really not much to show until before the present day, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. At least not that I could think of. Yeah.
I mean, other than them showing, the squad disappearing to go to the future or whatever, they might try to do an episode with showing everybody's reaction to the man being dead with, all of the scabbards and, them panicking, getting beat up by Kaido and the rest of his gang, and then Toki sending them to the future.
I really don't hope they make that a whole chapter, though. Really about that. I hope it's more like a half chapter. Like,
well, that's the reason that I would hope that they would show them the man Oden getting his ass beat. At least half of a chapter with the man fighting against Kaido, and then that kind of bleeding over a little bit until 2 chapters from now, and then they kind of show lead up to everybody being poofed into the future.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I just hope they don't like. If anything, I just hope it's not like a waste. Like I feel like if there's like maybe any reveals they could put in really that chapter, but I feel like that would kind of be like a waste of a whole chapter if they just focused on the we're in the future now. We got to do this, or that. Like
No, I wasn't saying that they would show them after they've already pooped to the future. Like what I'm saying is like, for example, if at the end of chapter 970 they got pulled into the future, and then on chapter 971 they gave us the present day where they're getting ready to actually fight Kaido and Orochi and all of that. Like they're showing us the actual current, the basically what was happening right before they jumped into the flashback.
Okay. All right, no, that's good. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna give this guy. Man, I don't know. I'll give this a decent plus. I'll give it a decent plus. They opened up like the theory part of my brain, obviously, as we talked about earlier. And I am glad the flashbacks. This looks like it's just about over, so I'm excited for the war to officially begin soon. As well as, like, I know homie's not gonna kill Orochi, but I just want to see Orochi get slapped. Like, if it's just like a couple times, right? Because I mean, this guy's been just so effing dirty. Like, I just don't like not seeing like characters like that get treated at some point. And it's been a long time coming. So I just hope Owen gives like a couple slaps. He shot his girl in the leg, tried to kill the kids. That ain't cool. You got to get got in some way, at least right now, right? At least he would think. Hope so. So I'm excited to see.
At least spit in the man's face or something.
Right, like do something. I mean, like, fuck. He pretty much like took over your entire country, murdered your daddy, shot your girl in the leg, tried to kill your kid. Like at some point, obviously. But I'm too thirsty. I need to see something right now. So hopefully they get into that a little bit. But yeah, I'll give it a decent plus. Like there wasn't really any like hardcore action, so it's hard for me to give like a decent as hell without action.